Have you ever been upset and instead of arguing, explaining, or defending yourself, you just went quiet? No shouting, no dramatic exit, just silence. To other people, that silence can feel confusing, maybe even hurtful. They might think you don't care, that you're being distant, or worse, manipulative. But psychology tells a very different story. When some people go silent during emotional stress, it's rarely about control. It's usually about protection. For many individuals, silence is not a strategy. It's a survival response. When emotions become overwhelming, hurt, disappointment, rejection, frustration, not everyone reacts with anger or confrontation. Some people shut down. Their words disappear. Their energy shifts. Their mind feels foggy. This isn't weakness. It's often the nervous system stepping in. Psychology explains that humans respond to stress in several ways: fight, flight, and freeze. While some argue or walk away, others freeze. In that frozen state, the body becomes tense, thoughts feel blocked, and speaking feels almost impossible. Silence, in that moment, is not a choice. It's a biological reaction. But where does this pattern begin? Often, it starts early in life. If someone grew up in an environment where expressing emotions led to criticism, punishment, dismissal, or being told they were too sensitive, their brain learned something important. Speaking up is risky. If explaining feelings caused conflict instead of comfort, silence slowly became safer than honesty. Over time, the mind makes an association. Expression equals danger. Silence equals safety. And that belief doesn't just disappear in adulthood. So when something hurts them today, their system remembers the past. Instead of explaining how they feel, they shut down. Not because they don't have emotions, but because their body has learned that quiet reduces emotional threat. There's also another layer. Some people who go silent are deeply aware of how powerful words can be. They know that once something is said in anger, it can't be taken back. Rather than risk damaging the relationship, they choose restraint. In their mind, silence feels responsible. Many of them were also the calm one growing up, the mature child, the peacemaker, the one who didn't cause problems. There wasn't much space for their frustration or sadness, so they learned to handle everything internally. As adults, they still carry that role. Another reason behind silence is the fear of not being understood. If someone repeatedly tried to explain their feelings in the past and was ignored, mocked, or misunderstood, they may eventually stop trying. Silence protects them from the pain of being invalidated again. There's often a fear of being too much, too emotional, too complicated, too heavy. So instead of expressing hurt, they convince themselves that staying quiet is kinder. Psychology also suggests that silence can create a temporary sense of control. When emotions feel chaotic, withdrawing brings structure. It gives the person time to process, regulate, and calm their nervous system. But here's the important part. Silence can protect in the short term, but harm in the long term. Unspoken emotions don't disappear. They build up. Over time, this can create emotional distance, quiet resentment, and a feeling of being unseen or misunderstood. And to others, that silence can look like indifference, even when the silent person cares deeply. So what actually helps someone who goes quiet when they're upset? Not pressure, not forcing them to talk immediately, not confrontation. Psychology shows that emotional safety changes everything. Patience, reassurance, calm presence, letting them know they can speak when they're ready. When someone feels safe instead of judged, their nervous system relaxes. And when the nervous system relaxes, communication becomes possible. In the end, people who go silent when upset are rarely cold or uncaring. Their silence is often the result of feeling too much, not too little. It's a learned response, a protective reflex, a quiet way of trying not to lose control or lose connection. And sometimes, behind the silence is someone who simply never learned that their emotions were allowed to take up space.